Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to analyze the recent developments of Lucid and see how the stock is reacting to all of this. Lucid is a very popular stock among retail investors, but for those who don't know, Lucid is an EV maker that has been struggling for a few years now, both as a company and as a stock since its IPO in July 2021 at the time of the SPAC hype. And yesterday, Lucid had a very bullish news where it announced a significant partnership with Uber to deploy more than 20,000 Lucid autonomous vehicles as Robotaxis as part of Uber Global Robotaxis program in a 300 million transaction over the next 6 years. For a company that's been burning cash and losing money, this is a pretty big deal and a significant breakthrough. And no surprise, the stock was up, as you can see here, nearly 60%, I think, in a few minutes. There, 68%. But this was just the initial reaction, because then the stock gave up some of those gains, tried to go up a little bit above VWAP, then giving up again some of the gains, and trading kind of below VWAP sideways throughout the open session. And so at the market close, the stock was only up 36%, which in the context of a very hot theme such as autonomous vehicles and robotaxis is not very, very bullish. To put things in context, just about a month ago, this other stock, which operates autonomous delivery solutions, was up just in one day after a very similar news. Was actually up 130%, gave up the gains, but was still up. The reaction to the news was still in the 100%. And I think the reason for Lucid not finishing the session much higher was the other news that they came up with on the same day, which was the filing of this proxy statement with the SEC to initiate plans for a reverse stock split. Which, for those who don't know what reverse split is, especially with a ratio of 1:10 that Lucid seems to be planning to go with, is essentially taking 10 shares of a stock and combining them into one share. And of course, this operation should not affect any shareholders' percentage ownerships or interest or proportionate voting powers or anything like that. However, it is usually perceived as a negative signal, because one of the main reasons why a company would decide to do a reverse split is if the company believes that the stock is actually going down. And since the company has, by definition, insider information, the reverse split could be motivated by maybe some bad news coming in the future, some maybe bad financial results or something else. And since Lucid was trading kind of around $2.3 before the news, if the company thinks that the stock could be going lower, it actually could go below $1, in which case it is at risk of losing the NASDAQ listing. However, I saw their PR statement that their main reason for doing the reverse split is not actually out of fear of being delisted from the NASDAQ, but more so to encourage institutional investors who apparently perceive all the stocks below kind of $5 as sort of like penny stocks, and they are not very much encouraged to invest in those stocks. And so the reverse split will allow them to kind of be institutional investor compliant, even though there isn't really such thing. Now, the preliminary proxy statement that they filed with the SEC doesn't actually mean that they're going to do the reverse split. It just means that they have the right to do it, or they would have the right to do it within a year. So basically they are using this as like sort of an option to keep in just in case. So what does that mean for my trading and of what I think of Lucid as a stock? Well, first off, I actually think that Lucid is a beaten down stock. So this is a significant news if it is of particular substance. Now, I would like to see what institutional investors think of this particular news. If they think positively that they're going to leave a footprint, which is going to be volume traded of the stock. The stock will be traded heavily, and that's when I will know that, okay, they think it's not so bad that this reverse split thing, and that the news is significantly more bullish than the risk or the fears of the reverse split. So just keep an eye on Lucid, how it trades over the next few days and how much volume it brings. There was another stock that actually had its pony had a significant run, actually, from the lows, was up 364% or 50 something percent after putting up a very similar news, Robotaxi commercial deployment. I'm hoping that Lucid would have a similar run if, again, institutionals think that their news is of substance. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a like, subscribe to the channel if you like my videos, and thanks for watching.